In the summer of 2025, Liverpool dropped a staggering £125 million to sign Alexander Isak, one of the most jaw-dropping transfers in Premier League history. The moment the figure hit transfer tickers, it didn't just raise eyebrows, it shattered expectations. It was a declaration. A declaration that Liverpool weren't just competing, they were ready to spend like Europe's superpowers. But behind the flashbulbs and welcome videos, this wasn't just a football transfer. It was a saga, a tug-of-war across Europe's biggest boardrooms, teetering on collapse more than once. And it all began with a forgotten summer, a hidden clause, and a midnight phone call that changed everything. Picture this: Liverpool's board scrambling on deadline day, Newcastle's top brass standing firm, and a player caught in the middle, moments from either a career-defining leap or the biggest disappointment of his life. Why did Liverpool break their transfer record for Isak? Why did Newcastle resist until the final hours? And how did one player's value inflate from a few million in Sweden to £125 million in England? This is not just the story of a player, it's the anatomy of a deal that redefined modern football's financial limits. Born in Solna, Sweden, Alexander Isak wasn't raised in luxury. He learned the game on frozen community pitches, often training in worn boots and balancing football with schoolwork. At 17, he became AIK's youngest ever debutant, scoring his first senior goal within weeks. For AIK, Isak wasn't just a rising star, he was a financial opportunity. Swedish clubs don't operate with Premier League budgets. Selling players is a survival strategy, and for AIK, Isak was their golden asset. In 2017, Borussia Dortmund swooped in with a deal worth around €9 million, a club record sale for AIK at the time. It came with performance bonuses, sell-on clauses, and a chance for Isak to grow in one of Europe's top development clubs. But Germany wasn't easy. At Dortmund, competition for minutes was fierce. Isak's potential was clear, but he struggled for consistent starts. His market value hovered between €10 to €15 million, solid, but not yet explosive. Then came a move that changed everything. In 2019, Isak signed for Real Sociedad. Spain's Basque Country offered him something Dortmund hadn't: trust, minutes, and a tactical system built for his movement. His goals began stacking up, 17 in his first full La Liga season, and with every strike, his valuation rose. At Real Sociedad, Isak's combination of pace, composure, and technical skill turned him into one of La Liga's most exciting forwards. His market value climbed to €20 to €30 million, sponsorships began trickling in, and brands in Scandinavia started using him as a frontman. Then came the call from England. In 2022, Newcastle United, backed by their new Saudi ownership, made Isak their record signing, €63 million. For a club rebuilding to challenge the Premier League elite, Isak wasn't just a player, he was a statement. The return on investment was immediate. Isak scored on his debut, then continued finding the net against top opposition. Over 54 goals in 86 appearances, he became Newcastle's talisman. The club's shirt sales spiked. Matchday revenues rose. And crucially, Newcastle's brand value began expanding into Northern Europe. But every goal also had a hidden cost. It raised his price tag. By the start of the 2024-25 season, Isak wasn't just Newcastle's star, he was one of the most valuable forwards in the world. Liverpool's interest wasn't casual, it was calculated. They'd been monitoring Isak for over a year. His movement, pressing intelligence, and ability to score in big games fit Klopp's vision for the next phase of Liverpool's attack. But buying him meant more than just paying a fee. It meant prying him from a financially secure Newcastle side with no pressure to sell. Liverpool's first approach in August 2025 was bold: £110 million plus £10 million in add-ons. Newcastle rejected it outright. They knew the market, and they knew Liverpool's need. The second bid, £120 million, structured over multiple installments, was also turned down. Newcastle's stance was clear: meet our valuation in full, or walk away. For most of the summer, the deal seemed dead. Liverpool explored other forwards. Newcastle publicly insisted Isak wasn't for sale. But privately, both sides knew that if the right number came in, conversations could restart. September 1, 2025. Deadline day. Liverpool's boardroom at the AXA training center was tense. Every hour brought fresh updates from agents and intermediaries. The pressure wasn't just about football, it was about optics. Nike, Liverpool's kit partner, had already prepared marketing campaigns around a marquee signing. Season ticket renewals and international sponsorship talks were looming. Missing out on Isak could dent both squad strength and commercial momentum. At 7:46 p.m., Liverpool made their final play, £125 million, paid in full. No add-ons. No staggered payments. The biggest fee in British football history. Inside Newcastle's headquarters, the debate was fierce. Sell their star and risk their season? Or take the money and reinvest in depth? Financial fair play was a factor. £125 million could fund 2 or 3 high-level signings, pay off training ground expansions, and secure their wage structure for years. At 8:12 p.m., they agreed. The contracts were drafted, image rights finalized. Those alone were worth millions over Isak's deal, and by 9:03 p.m., Isak was boarding a private jet to Merseyside. Liverpool fans flooded social media. The signing wasn't just a transfer, it was a signal of intent. For Isak, the move to Liverpool was life-changing. His weekly wage, around £350,000, placed him among the club's top earners. Performance bonuses were stacked into the deal, goal milestones, trophy wins, European progression. Even Ballon d'Or nominations could trigger payouts. Then there were his image rights, a goldmine. Liverpool's global fan base, combined with Isak's marketability in Scandinavia, made him a magnet for endorsements. Conservative estimates put his off-field earnings at an extra £3 to £5 million per year. For Liverpool, the signing was as much a business decision as a sporting one. Isak's profile opened doors in untapped markets. Scandinavian broadcasters showed heightened interest in Liverpool games. Shirt sales in Sweden spiked within days of his unveiling. Sponsors in Northern Europe initiated talks for new partnerships. For Newcastle, the windfall reshaped their future. The funds allowed them to target multiple reinforcements, spreading the risk instead of relying on a single star. And with FFP compliance secured, they gained breathing room to grow sustainably. Isak's debut at Anfield was electric. The cop roared his name. Headlines the next morning weren't about the price tag. They were about a striker who seemed destined for this stage. But as history shows, record transfers come with record expectations. Every touch, every miss, every interview will be weighed against that £125 million fee. For Isak, the challenge is not just to score goals. It's to become the face of Liverpool's next chapter. And in modern football, that face is also a brand. Every post-match photo, every charity appearance, every social media campaign feeds into the return on investment. Liverpool aren't just paying for his goals, they're paying for the story he carries. From the frozen pitches of Solna to the deafening roar of Anfield, Alexander Isak's journey has been a masterclass in talent, timing, and financial growth. For Liverpool, this is a gamble worth £125 million. For Newcastle, it's a chance to build something bigger. And for Isak, it's the culmination of a dream, wrapped in the most expensive price tag in British football history. In football's new economy, the numbers are staggering, the stakes are higher than ever, and one thing is certain, somewhere out there, another young player is about to start their own journey, and the market is already watching.